You know this?
Who's chashuv?
Again, what's with your self-confidence? I get something in my brain.
What are you talking about? All right. Rabbi said we have a pretty tough half, so we got to start. Yeah. Yeah. Everything is easy once we understand the concept. It's pretty simple. Okay. Today we are going to learn our favorite subject and topic, pigul. What is pigul? The different types of pigul. Kartzos kosher, kartzos psul. You have to have the pigul intent from beginning to end, v'chulu. And then we're going to discuss one major question, and that's going to take us pretty much throughout the entire shir. And the question is, if you have shirayim left over mincha, after the koimetz you have shirayim, you take the koimetz, whatever left over is called shirayim. If that shirayim becomes chaser, does the koimetz that you were makriv, does it have an effect on that shirayim or not? That is the main topic of today after the Mishnah. So let's see the Mishnah. So first of all, for those who haven't been to Zvachim, what is pigul? Pigul is if you have a bad intent during one of the four avodas. Meaning, you're doing the avodah and you thought to yourself that you are going to eat the carbon more outside of its allotted time. Meaning, if you're allowed to eat the carbon for one day, you thought to yourself you're going to eat it in 2 days from now. As you're doing the shechita, you're saying to yourself, I am going to eat this carbon in 2 days from now. That makes it pasul and pigul. And if you eat it after 2 days, then you chayav kares. If you don't eat it after 2 days, you're not chayav kares, it's just pasul.
If you eat it the same day?
If you eat it, it's... Now, the same exact thing would be if you had the wrong intent for zman, for makim. Sorry, we just said zman, makim. What is makim? If you're only allowed to eat the carbon inside the Beis Hamikdash, inside the Azara, and during the shechita you said to yourself, I am going to eat this outside of the Beis Hamikdash, that is also pasul, but you don't get kares if you eat it. And then we had a third machshava that ruins it. Does anybody remember the third machshava, Rabbi Isai? L'shma. The machshava of l'shma. But that only works. That's not pigul, neither is chutz l'makim pigul. We're talking about all the machshavas that could ruin here. Yeah, I just started off with pigul. Fine. So let's see the Mishnah. Don't get scared. The size there's a lot of redundancy here, seemingly, but the concepts are pretty straightforward and simple. If a person does kmitza. Now, there's two parts to the Mishnah really. There's part of the base that goes all the way to the bottom of the base, 6 lines, and then there's the part on Yud Beis Amud Aleph. The difference is, the first part is going to discuss kmitza. And the second part of the Mishnah is going to discuss all other avodos. So if one does kmitza, as he removes the flour from the bowl, and he thinks to himself in his mind, I am going to eat this mincha, the leftover the mincha, the shirayim, I'm going to eat them bachutz, out of its place. Oy kezayis mishiyareh bachutz. Now pay attention to this word because this is going to help us understand the sugya, the difficult sugya. What does this mean? Oy kezayis mekumtza bachutz. I just said that if I think to myself I'm going to eat it bachutz, I ruined, I had the wrong intention. Or even, says the Mishnah, even a kezayis of my koimetz bachutz. So, how much did he have? So we have to remember these words because the Gemara is going to discuss what exactly happened here. There is no difference. It's the same thing, just it goes down a step. Even a kezayis.
Where's bachutz?
Bachutz is anywhere outside of the Azara or anywhere out of the place where you're allowed to eat that specific carbon or mincha.
And he's having this at the time that he's been doing the kmitza? At the time that he's doing the kmitza?
At the time that he's doing the kmitza, he has intent to now. Also, as you probably recall, there's two types of achilos. There's the human consumption and there's the mizbeach's consumption. So, when he's referring to himself, he's going to eat the shirayim, or the mizbeach is going to eat the kaimetz. Says the Mishnah, another case. Lahaktir kumtza bachutz. He's thinking to himself that he's going to put the kmitza not on the mizbeach in the Beis Hamikdash. He has his own little mizbeach in his backyard, bachutz. That passes the mincha on the spot. But that's still chutz l'makom. We didn't touch yet chutz l'zman. Chutz l'zman is a lot worse because chutz l'zman, if you eat it, you get kares. Oy, again, 4 times the Mishnah is going to mention kizayis. Oy kizayis mikumtza bachutz. Or he even thought about just the kizayis of the koimetz to be makdir it outside of the Beis Hamikdash. Oy, another case. Lahaktir levaynasa bachutz. So, over here, he is makdir the levayna. He said in his mind he's going to do the levayna, not the kaimetz, not the soilus, but the levayna. Now over here, Rashi points out the Mishnah doesn't say kizayis. Why? Oh, very good. You hear what he says? Because we paskin like Rabbanon, or the Mishnah at least is going like Rabbanon, that one karet is enough. It doesn't passel it. Oy lahakti leviros b'chutz, pasul ve'im bei kares. So kizayis is not the shir. Lechol shiarel l'machar. Now here we go. This is what we call pigul. What we call pigul. By the way, until now, what the Mishnah was talking about is what the Torah calls pigul. But the Gemara switches the lashon pigul, and we use pigul as chutz l'zman, not chutz l'makom. When the Torah says pigul, the Torah is referring to chutz l'makom. But not to get confused, we go with the Gemara. We're learning Gemara, so pigul to us means chutz l'zman. Although they go together always. Chutz l'makom, chutz l'zman. The only difference in halacha was, again, kares. Now, lechol shiarel l'machar. If while he was doing the kmitza, he said, "I'm going to eat the shirayim tomorrow," meaning past the time that I'm allowed, oy kazayis mishiarel l'machar, or a kazayis of the shirayim tomorrow. How much shirayim was left over? It says over here, kazayis mishiarel l'machar. Well, l'maisa, if you look at the lashon, it's mashma that everything is there. Mishiarel. The whole shirayim is intact, the whole bowl. He's focusing on one kazayis out of that bowl. The Gemara says that doesn't really make a lot of sense, because then there's no big chiddush here. Why does it say kazayis if you have the whole bowl? What's the problem? You have everything. It makes a lot more sense to say that he was left over with one kazayis. I'm just pointing it out here to make it slightly easier when we get to the tough sugya. Again, oy kazayis mishiarel l'machar, or he had intent on one kazayis from the leftover. He said to himself, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to eat it tomorrow. Lahaktir kumtza l'machar, or he said to himself, I am going to be makriv the kaimetz on the mizbech tomorrow instead of today when he's supposed to. That ruins it. And if he eats the carbon, if he eats the mincha, he's chayv kares on the spot. Oy kazayis mikumtza l'machar, or even one kazayis out of the kaimetz tomorrow. Oy lahaktir levanos l'machar, or he says, I'm going to be maktir the levayna tomorrow. No difference between the levayna and the kmitza. Now again, just to point out, so we don't have to really look in the Mishnah later on in the Gemara, over here it says, Oy lahaktir levanos l'machar. It's a different case, it's a separate case. There's one case of kmitza, one case of levayna. According to Rebbe Eliezer, it would be one case. He holds that you have to have intent on both together. If the intent is going to ruin something, it has to be the kmitza and the levayna in one intent. Fine. Now we're going to to the second part of the Mishnah. Over here we're going to discuss the same halachas that we just said now, but in regard to the other three avodos. Again, there's four avodos when it comes to mincha. This is the kmitza, this is the matan bekli, this is the halacha, and this is the haktara. Says the Mishnah. So that is pigul v'chayov malav kares. Fine. Ze haklal. Kol hakoymetz v'hanoisim bekli. So the Mishnah mentions again kmitza, but then hanoisim bekli, that's avodah number 2. V'hamoilach, avodah number 3. V'hamaktir, avodah number 4. Lechol dover shedarkoi lechol, to eat. He has in mind something that you usually could eat, such as shirayim. Koimetz would be something that you don't really eat. Ulahaktir dover shedarkoi lahaktir. And he had intention to put on the mizbeach something that you typically put on the mizbeach, which is the kmitza, not the shirayim. Chutz lim koimoi hasul vein boy kores. If the intent was outside of its place, he's going to be makdir outside of the Beis Hamikdash, or he was going to eat outside of the Beis Hamikdash, outside of Yerushalayim, whatever it is, depending on the carbon. Hasul vein boy kores. Why? Because that's chutz lim makom. Chutz l'zmanoi, but if his intent was pigul v'chayovim olav kares, if his intent was chutz l'zman, so then it's pigul and you're chayiv kares.
Kares if he does it or kares if he takes it?
No, kares if you eat it. You have to eat it in order to be chayiv kares. Just thinking about chutz l'zman makes it possible, but doesn't give you kares.
How long does he have to eat it? A day?
What do you mean, how long? When does...
If it's chutz l'zman, so what's chutz l'zman?
No, chutz l'zman and eating are two separate things. He has to eat the mincha eventually. When he eats it, then retroactively his machshava is chal and he's chayiv kares. The chayiv kares is chal when he eats it. So this is the amazing concept by Menachos, by Pigul. In order to be chayiv, you have to be over the avera mamish with all the halachas. There's halachas to the avera. You can't just have bad intent. You have to have bad intent through the whole process. You cannot ruin your intent. So, if you started off with a bad intent of chutz l'makom, let's say you did the kmitza with the intent of eating it outside of the Beis Hamikdash, and then you ruined it by adding another bad intent. You added the intent of eating it chutz l'zman.
During Matam Akli or during another part?
Whenever you want. It doesn't matter when. During one of the four avodos, that second intent knocks off the first intent, or the first intent knocks off the second intent. In other words, you won't be chayiv kares in this case, because there's two bad intents here. And in order to be chayiv kares, you have to go from beginning to end with just one intent, one bad intent. Just like, in order for...
You're only getting kares if you end up eating it.
Right. If you end up eating it, and you had two intents during the process, you're not chayiv kares, even if you ate it, because your chutz l'zman got knocked off because you did a chutz l'makom. You have to have a pure pigul intent from beginning to end. You have to be mamish at tzaddik when you do this rishus.
A person who didn't have any pickle thoughts, but he eats it b'chutz l'zmano, he gets kares?
Yes.
So what happen if you didn't think about it?
No, but he ruined it, because that's yotzei.
The only way he's going to get kares is only if he didn't do any...
What are you talking about? Let's say he ate it inside the Beis Hamikdash. He ate it inside the Beis Hamikdash.
Right.
It wasn't yotzei. His intent was to bring it outside.
He didn't end up doing it.
He didn't end up doing it. He ate it right here and then, but he had a machshava also of chutz l'zman. He had a machshava of chutz l'zman and it was inside the Beis Hamikdash, he's chayiv kares. But if he added a machshava of chutz l'makom to that machshava, he ruined his first machshava of chutz l'zman.
And a regular guy who didn't have any pickle thoughts eats the chutz l'zmano, he gets kares or not?
Oh, he eats a chutz l'zman?
Yeah.
But that's something else. He doesn't get kares. Does not get kares. No. I thought you meant if he eats it out of the Beis Hamikdash. Eating it outside the Beis Hamikdash, you get kares. But that's yotzei. That's something else.
And chutz l'zmano stam?
Chutz l'zman, eating it, you don't get kares.
What does chutz l'zman mean? It means a specific time.
He thinks anything beyond its allotted time. If you're allowed to eat a mincha for one day, today's Wednesday. I could eat my mincha on Wednesday. If I think I'm going to bring it to my Shabbos table, I'm over on pigul, and if I eat it, even today, on Wednesday, but because I had the machshava, I'm going to eat it on Shabbos, I'm chayiv kares.
You
have to be a from Russia, yes.
In order to ruin the people. Yeah. You can't stop.
I don't know what the reason is. I don't know. The Torah doesn't tell us the reason. But place is less in terms of karas. It's less. They both have psul, but less. Zog the Gemara. Zog the Mishnah. Ketzad karev amatikim mitzvasei. Komatz b'shtiko. If a person started out without any machshavas, so that's okay. So he did the kmitza b'shtika. But the next avodas, nosan bekliva hoylach v'hikte chutz zmanoi. But the next three avodos, he had bad intent. That also ruins it, right? Because bad intent doesn't matter what avodah you do it in. Oishe komatz chutz lizmanoi, or he started out with the wrong intent, and then nosan bekliva hoylach v'hikte b'shtika. That's also really bad because all you need is one out of the four avodas to have bad intent. Oishe komatz v'nosan bekliva hoylach v'hikte chutz lizmanoi. Or he did all three, four of them. Chutz zman, that obviously is really bad. That's doing it from Russia. He did it with all the chumras, and he did the avera properly. How is it the case where he didn't do it properly? Let's say he started off. This is the look on this case. He started out with the machshava of chutz l'makom, and then he added on another machshava. Nosan bekliva hoylach v'hikter chutz l'zmanoi, and then the second avodah that he did, he added on a machshava of outside of its allotted time. Or he started off with the worst of the worst, the karas one, chutz l'zmanoi, and then nosan bekliva hoylach v'hikter chutz l'makom. Then he added on the machshava of out of its place. Zeu. Or he did all three out of the four. He did chutz zman, and he added one chutz l'makom. That is considered not like it's mitzvah. Fine. Now, remember the first mission of Menachos. We're talking about another machshava that passes, shaloi l'shma, but that only passes in two Menachos. Chayte and Soita and the Knois. So if you add the machshava in those two menachos, you also ruin the machshava of chutz l'zman. Minchas Chayte and Minchas Knois shekemotz and shaloi l'shman. He started out with the shaloi l'shma. What's shaloi l'shma? He had intent he was bringing a Minchas Chayte, and he thought to himself, I'm bringing a Minchas Nadava. That ruins the Minchas Chayte, throw in the garbage. So if he had that intent, and then he added on another intent of pigul, or he started out with pigul, and then he added on the shaloi l'shma, that ruins it.
Something that's kosher but not Allah l'shem bailim doesn't ruin it?
What?
Something that's kosher but not Allah l'shem bailim doesn't ruin it?
Such as?
All the other menachos. We said if you don't have...
Oh, yeah, so if you have another mincha, 100%, yeah, 100%. In other words, what he's asking is, another mincha that's not a chayta, just a minchas nedava, that a guy had in mind, that I'm not bringing a minchas nedava, I'm bringing a minchas chavitin, instead of a minchas machvas. So he said that it's kosher, v'lo ya'ala l'balam. But that does not ruin the machshava of pigul. Because that's not considered a strong machshava. Or he did 3 out of the 4, he did chutz l'zman, and one of them was shaloi l'shma, zeu shaloi karev amatikim mitzvasoi. So he didn't do the aveira properly, and he doesn't get kares. Says the Mishnah, what if I do in one avodah, I do 2 bad intents? How? Lechol kezayis b'chutz. As he's doing the kmitza, he's thinking to himself, one kezayis I'm gonna eat outside of the Beis Hamikdash, kezayis l'machar. Like he's like a brisker Russia. He wants to make sure that his aver is chal. So he's like thinking, I got to do chutz l'makom and chutz l'zman all together. Be'ezer Hashem, I'm going to be over this avera. He doesn't realize that you have to be a Talmud Chacham when you want to do an avera. This guy's in Ma'aretz and averis. He added something that actually ruined his avera. It doesn't matter how he started. No, 2 separate gezaysim. What if he did a half a shear? He wants to mitzaref 2 shiurim. One should be outside of the Beis Hamikdash. What should be outside of his allowed time? It doesn't matter if he started with the zman or he started with the makom. Pasul vein by kares. Fine.
What's the mechanism that's allowing this to happen? That's a what's a meaning?
Why does it get ruined?
Why does it get ruined?
Oh, because there's a concept kartzas kosher kachartzas pasul. Just like, and we learned this out from a pasuk. We learn from pasuk. Just like when something is kosher, in order to make it kosher, it has to go from the beginning of all four avodas have to be done properly with the right intent, and then it's kosher. So too, when you make it pasul, they have to all go in the right order with the right intent. Psul.
Yeah, but even
It has to be similar to kosher.
Right. So the question is, even when you have one psul, it's not the case, because at some point you had an intent for it to be kosher. So it wasn't all the way through.
Not kosher. You had in the psul, you added a psul. Just like in the kosher, you can't add
Right,
kosher.
but I'll say also that like when a kohen is doing the avodah,
Yeah.
in a proper way, and then at one point he added in a psul.
Yeah.
Right? So even that psul wasn't done throughout the entire avodah. So how come?
Because we learn from kosher that it has to be smooth. We'll talk it afterwards because we got to move here. Omer Rabbi Yehuda, Zeh HaKlal. Im machshavas hazman kodma. So Rabbi Yehuda is mechulek, and he says no. There is a case where two bad intents work if the zman intent, which is stronger, it's the kares, comes first. If zman came first and you added makom to it, it doesn't ruin it. The only time it gets ruined is if you started with makom and added zman to the makom. Omer Rabbi Yehuda, Zeh HaKlal. Im machshavas hazman kodma lemachshavas hamakom. If it's zman is first, pigo v'chayom olav kares, then you do get kares. It does work, even though there's a second intent. Im machshavas hamakom kodma lemachshavas hazman pasul vein bekares. The entire Mishnah we had in Zvachim, word for word. The Chachamim Oimrim zeh pasul vein bekares. And Chachamim mechulik. Now comes the big kasha. Pay attention. Iboilu. L'divrei ha'omer, according to Rabbi Yochanan that we had the other day, Shirayim shechosru ben kmitza lahaktara makter koimetz aleim. Rabbi Yochanan holds that if you have a bowl of shirayim, somebody took a koimetz and you have a bowl of shirayim left over, and from that shirayim, some of it went missing, what does Rabbi Yochanan hold? You continue with the koimetz. You're makter the koimetz, but get rid of the shirayim. As the Gemara, does putting the koimetz on the mizbeach have any effect whatsoever halachically on the shirayim that you're supposed to throw out in the garbage? What effect could it have? You continue with the koimetz, and the Gemara ends off the sugya the oisim shirayim asurim b'achila. The Gemara says you cannot eat the shirayim. Does it have effect if it's garbage? And you thought about shirayim that's garbage, and the koimetz has nothing to do with the shirayim. So if I had intent to eat this shirayim that I have to throw in the garbage 5 days from now, it's nothing. It's not a bad intent. Why? Because I had a bad intent about garbage. But if the koimetz has an effect on the shirayim, then maybe I could have pigul on that shirayim, and I could be over or not be over on me'ilah. How does me'ilah work? If I have a bowl of a mincha, so until I do kmitza, use that bowl of flour for myself, my own personal use, I have to bring a hasham. It's me'ilah, and I have to add a 20%. I get a fine. But if it's garbage, then there's no me'ilah. But if the koimetz has an effect on that bowl of garbage, so to speak, so me'ilah, there won't be me'ilah anymore because it removed the me'ilah. What's the Gemara's shaila? Because what removes the me'ilah? The fact that the kohanim could use it. It goes from kodesh kodashim, from HaKadosh Baruch Hu to the kohanim, and there's no me'ilah anymore. Over here, didn't go to the kohanim. If the kohanim can't eat it, so maybe the me'ilah remains. The same thing with the shirayim. There's no pigul maybe on shirayim because I can't eat it. Only something that's and here Rashi says a beautiful chap. Look at 2 lines from where it becomes wide. Rashi says, since I cannot eat the shirayim, says Rashi. We're talking about something that I can't even eat. And if I can't even eat, then there's no pigul on something I can't eat. If I think about something that I can't eat anyways, my machshav is on something I can't eat, then maybe there's no shirayim. Maybe there's no pigul.
What's the other side? What's the first side?
That,
That sounds a lot better.
Oh.
What's the first side?
If you think when you're doing it all, you think I'm going to eat this, that's not pickle because you're not going to eat
So
all.
what? Why are you putting this?
The mizbeach is gonna eat, yeah.
I'm gonna do what? What's this man?
it's good shayla. I don't know, I have to look. I don't remember what the halacha is.
Oh, the other side is because you do
It's a simple shayla, not a good one. Simple. I just don't remember.
So what's the people that you're thinking? I'm gonna
Says the
do?
Gemara.
What's the first side?
No, you can eat it.
You can eat what?
You can eat the shit. You can eat the shirayim.
You can't eat the shirayim. What's the first
The
side?
first time is that you
Well, what?
have to do the
It is,
kodesh.
it's just makdir, it's what she said.
So that there is pickle on something you're not going to eat.
How's there pig on something you're not gonna eat?
You're giving it all.
What are you thinking? What do you think? I'm gonna eat this? This is mine?
Yeah, so Rashi says it's for shus makdir, it's his. It's his, he can't eat it, but it goes back to him. So,
No, the other side is that you still have to.
Zog the Gemara, Omar Avuna,
You still have chiyuv to do the kodesh. You think kodesh
Afi-
is shirayim.
Omar Avuna, Ma'u disani lu aktor lemikbinu bepigu velapinu midei mila. Maybe the koimetz, being marked the koimetz, should remove the meila part from it. Omar Avuna.
That's part of the question?
What's interesting about Rav Huna is that he says the exact opposite, the polar opposite of what Rav says. He sees it completely different. Omar Rav Huna, afilu l'Rebbe Akiva, d'Omar zrika moyeles liyotzei. Now, there's a very, very similar case, almost identical, seemingly, to our case. If a person brings meat of a carbon outside of the Beis HaMikdash, does the zrika of the kohen on the mizbeach help to remove me'ilah from that meat? You can't eat the meat anymore, it went outside the Beis HaMikdash, but does the zrika have an effect on that meat? Rebbe Akiva holds that it works, the zrika works. So perhaps Rebbe Akiva should say the same thing by us. The kmitza, the aktar of the kmitza should work for the shirayim. It's mamish identical, right? Says the Gemara, even Rebbe Akiva, who says that it works, he says a beautiful nafkamina. If you look at yotzei, there's no physical difference in something that went outside of the Beis HaMikdash. It weighed 5 pounds before it went out, it weighs 5 pounds now. It looks the same, it is the same. A halacha happened there. It went outside of its boundaries, halachically. A guy doesn't see a difference, a Jew sees a difference. Aval chisaron, when a mincha is missing part of it, there's a physical difference in this mincha. It's missing half of it. And the meal is much more chamor. And therefore the kmitza should not work for it. Omalei Rava, Adarabba, I see things the exact reverse, the exact opposite. Even according to Rebbe Eliezer, and he says Zrika does not work for carbon, but by us, by kmitza would work. Why? Because where is it? Outside the Beis HaMikdash. It's in the wrong place. It's gone. It can't help. It can't be helped with Zrika. But this shirayim that's still inside the Beis HaMikdash, it's at least in the right place. Yes, something happened to it, but it's in the right place.
Who said it fell apart?
So maybe Aktara should work for it. What?
Who said that the chisaron was in the Azara? It was. There's no psul yotzei.
Because I didn't discuss any other soul. Just discuss chisaron. That's the only problem.
Fine. Now, by the way, not to scare you or anything, but if you look at Daf Yud Gimel, it's very short. And the reason why it's very short is because there's a giant Rashbam that they stuck in here, on Amud Aleph, that goes just sugya. But not that you should get any. I mean, this is a very simple sugya, and we did a big part of it, and here goes.
So we're going to chart of women.
Omar, and there's no chart, because I tried to do a chart, and I just confused myself, and I figured it's going to confuse everybody else. Omar Rava. I'm out of practice with these charts. Omar Rava Mino Aminallah. I will prove to you from our Mishnah that it does in fact work. So let me just say it outside quickly, and then we're going to go inside.
That the Aktara works on the shirayim.
On the Shirayim. If I could show you in the Mishnah that it says in the Mishnah that I had a whole bowl of Shirayim, and part of the Shirayim went missing to the point where I'm only left with one kazayis. If it says that in the Mishnah, and it says that kazayis is pigul, becomes pigul, what does that tell me? The reason why it became pigul is because the koimitz worked for it. The aktara of the again. What's the question? Let's repeat the question so we have it clear. If I have a bowl of shirayim, that some of it is missing, the halacha is I have to get rid of it. But according to Rabbi Yochanan, I'm makdir the koimitz. The question is, could that koimitz have an effect on the bowl of shirayim, that if I had intent that I'm going to eat this bowl of shirayim outside of its zman, I'm chayv kares. And if in our Mishnah it says that there's one kazayis left over from the shirayim, that means it went missing. That's our case. A bowl of shirayim that everything went missing, and there's one kazayis left over, and the Mishnah says it's pigul. How could it become pigul? Because the kmitza that I put on the mizbeach worked. If it has an effect on this kazayis that's left over. Now, let's look in the Mishnah for a second. It says, Oy kazayis mishiyarel l'machar. He had a kazayis left over. It can mean one of two things. It can mean I had an entire bowl, and my focus and my intention was on one kazayis. Or it can mean I used to have a whole bowl. Right now I only have one kazayis left. If that's the case, I have a perfect raya. If it's the first part, I don't have any raya. Says Rava, I'll prove to you that when the Mishnah says kazayis, it means I'm left over with a kazayis. Not that I have a whole bowl and I'm thinking about a kazayis. I could only think about a kazayis because I'm left over with the kazayis. Everything else went bye-bye.
What, because he did a big kmitza?
No.
So what, it got lost?
It got lost. It blew away in the wind. What's my proof? Very, very simple. Reb Chia, when he said over our Mishnah to his Talmidim, he said a brisa. He said over word for word the entire Mishnah. The only thing missing from Reb Chia's Mishnah is the word kazayis. He never mentions the word kazayis. And the question is why? Why did he omit the word kazayis on purpose? If it's like option number one, that he has an entire bowl and he's just thinking about a kazayis, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. That's a perfect case. He should have said that case. The pshat is because we're not talking about that case. We're talking about a case that we want to prove. We're talking about that he's left over with the kazayis. And Reb Chia wanted to make it very simple for his Talmidim. He wanted to say one halacha that applies to all four avodos. And the halacha of a kazayis remaining doesn't apply to kmitza. Because if you do kmitza with just one kazayis remaining, it's not a good kmitza. It's chaser. So Rabbi Yochanan couldn't say that halacha of kazayis by kmitza. You could say it by the other three avodos. B'negeh to shirayim. B'negeh to shirayim, if a person had an intent and he only had one kazayis left, that would make sense. Again, why did Reb Chia take out the word kazayis? Because it doesn't, he wanted to be consistent throughout the whole Mishnah. And kazayis, leftover kazayis, by shirayim doesn't work, by koimitz doesn't work. So he didn't say it. It only works by the other three avodos. It's a raya that our Mishnah is talking about a kazayis that's left over, not a kazayis that he's thinking about in his head. Not left over in his head, but left over physically. And if it's therefore, the Mishnah says on that kind of kazayis, it's pigul. It's a raya that a koimitz works for that kazayis.
We're talking about the
Doesn't matter how many minutes, we have to understand that this is a tough sugya. One of the toughest we had. It's a very simple raya. Again, I'm going to chaz over the raya. Hold on, Hillel. 1 second. Here we go. Hillel's here with us today, Baruch Hashem. No live. Again, if Reb Chia doesn't mention the word kazayis, it's because he has a major problem with kazayis. There's two options in kazayis. Either that there's nothing left over in the bowl, only a kazayis, and that would be a perfect raya to us, because it says that kazayis that's left over in the bowl, if he had any intention, it becomes pigul, and that means...
He did the kmitza and there's only kazayis left?
Right. Even according... Reb Chia and our Mishnah are not mechulet. Everybody, Reb Chia agrees to our Mishnah, it's just a question whether to mention the word kazayis. Reb Chia says I cannot mention the word kazayis because it doesn't apply to the first part of the Mishnah on Amud Beis. It applies to everything on Yud Beis Amud Aleph. It doesn't apply to anything on Yud Aleph Amud Beis. Why? Because Yud Aleph Amud Beis is talking about a kmitza. A kmitza has to have a perfect amount. You have to go like this. You can't be talking about a kmitza that only has a kazayis. So how can Reb Chia mention it? So we mention it is because it doesn't really mean that. It means another case. It means a case where the bowl was full, and in his mind he was thinking about one kazayis out of the bowl. So that means that the Reish is talking about one case, and the Seif is talking about another case. No, Reb Chia wanted to be consistent. He just got rid of the whole kazayis and finished. He agrees to everything it says. He got rid of it. But why did he get rid of it? Because we're talking about a kazayis that's left over in the bowl. Because if we're talking about a kazayis that's not left over the bowl, just the bowl is completely full, then why didn't he mention it? That is consistent throughout the whole Mishnah. If you have a kazayis, the whole bowl is full, and he did a kemitza with it, that's a good kemitza, it's a kosher kemitza, and he thought in his mind that he's going to eat one kazayis of that tomorrow, that's a perfect case. Reb Chia should mention it. The fact that Reb Chia didn't mention that case is because he's talking about a case where there's nothing left over in the bowl. There's only kazayis left over in the bowl. And that's the Gemara's kasha. That's exactly what we want to know. If you have a kazayis left over in a bowl, and that's his shirayim, and he thought about a machshava of chutz l'zman, does it pass it or not? Is it a pigul? Let's see it inside.
When was that thought? It was a thought when he did the kemitza, or a thought?
Yeah,
now,
while he's doing the kemitza.
now?
In this part of the Mishnah on Beis, it's when he's doing the kemitza. Hakoymetz, while he's doing kemitza. Let's see it
You know
inside.
that he wasn't going to be in the kemitza.
Let's see it inside. Omar Rava. Mina amin Allah, let me prove it to you. On Motzei Shabbos, we're going to have a 3-hour shir, just to make this up. Omar Rava, but tomorrow's daf seems very short. Oh. Omar Rava, Mina amin Allah, how do I know this? This nan, it says in our Mishnah, Hakoymetz es hamincha lechol shiyoreh b'chutz. This is the key word. Kizayis mishireh b'chutz. V'tani Reb Chia, and Reb Chia said over a brayso, Hakam yitzis amincha, v'loitani oy kizayis. He removed the word kizayis. My time v'loitani oy kizayis. Why? Lav kigoyin shechosru shirayim v'kom alo kizayis. He's obviously talking about a case where there's nothing left but a kizayis. V'kiv and nibimatan kli bihiluchu b'aktor le'matni lei. Since he didn't say it on Amud Aleph, on Yud Beis Amud Aleph, in the case. Why? Because if he would say it over there, he would have to say it on Kmitza, and it doesn't work. So that's why he didn't say it on the first part of the Mishnah by Kmitza. And here's the Raya. Viktani Seifan, it says all the way in the end of our Mishnah. We just learned it. Pigul. What's pigul? This kazayis that's left over. That's our case. You had a bowl of shmin, some of it went missing. I can make it pigul. Yichayv kares. Alma mahanyilu aktara. Fine. But what's Rava's raya? Because I have two options to learn the word kazayis, and I have to pick option one. What if I could pick option one? Option A. I don't have a raya. What's option A? That the whole bowl is here, and he had in mind to eat a kazayis of that bowl tomorrow. And the Gemara asks, if that's the case, Reb Chia could mention it in the Mishnah, he would have no issue. It would be consistent on all 4 avodas, that exact case. Says Abaye, no. It's not consistent on all 4 avodas. Why? That's another issue. It's not a good raya. Homani Rebbe Elazar. If you hold like Rebbe Elazar, that's not a good case of thinking about a full bowl and one kazayis out of the full bowl. The snan. Hakoymetz v'alavoyna v'aktoiris. If you do kmitza or lavoyna v'aktoiris, you do ktoiris every morning and afternoon. Uminchas koyhanim. If a koyim brings a, there's no kmitza. Whole thing on the mizbeach. Uminchas koyim mashiach. What's a minchas koyim mashiach? We call it a minchas chavitim that comes every morning and every evening. Uminchas nesachim. A mincha that comes together with korbanos. The guy went and took a kazayis worth of his mincha and brought it outside. What's the halacha? Machloikis. Chayav. Rebbe Elazar poiter. But Rebbe Elazar says you're not chayiv. is kuloi. The only way you're chayiv is if you makriv the entire mincha. Kir in the back doors kmitzalei mitnelei oy kazayis mikumtze bachutz. B'shraim nami lo mitnelei oy kazayis bachutz. Oy kazayis. What is he saying? He's saying like this. In our Mishnah, if he had an entire bowl, and he thought to himself, I am going to eat one kazayis outside of the Beis HaMikdash. That's not a problem according to Rebbe Elazar. Because he has to have in mind, I'm going to eat the entire bowl out of the Beis HaMikdash. Just thinking about one kazayis doesn't work. So therefore, according to that, I would have to say that the pshat in the Mishnah is, no, so that's why Reb Chia didn't say oy kazayis, because it doesn't work according to Rebbe Elazar. If I hold like Reb Chia holds like Rebbe Elazar, and it doesn't work well, that's why I didn't say kazayis. Not because of you, Rava, that I'm talking about that there's only a kazayis left over, and a kazayis left over is problematic. No, we're talking about that the whole bowl is intact. Nothing went chaser. Just as machshava wouldn't work on a kezayis because I need a machshava of everything, not a machshava of kezayis.
The Mela, we don't have a teretz, it's our question.
Whoever's lost, have no fear. We're starting a new sugya soon.
I'm just a little bit confused of the timing of when he has.
I'm going to go through it with you afterwards. We only have mamash a few minutes. Oh, so you're telling me the Mishnah goes according to Rebbe Lazar. That doesn't work. Rebbe Lazar, kumtza. It says in the Mishnah 2 cases. He had in mind to be maktir the koimetz. And then it says case number 2, he had in mind to be maktir the levina. That doesn't work. It should be together. The snan. HaKoimetz v'alavina shikir v'sechom en bachutz chayev. Rebbe Lazar holds poiter achi yakiv shneim. You have to be makir for both of them. So it's not 2 separate cases. It's one case according to Rebbe Lazar. The wording in the Mishnah doesn't work according to Rebbe Lazar. So the Gemara does work. I have a case where there's no levina. When there's a minchas choyte, and the case of the Mishnah is very good. He was makriv, he was doing a kmitza without the levina. Why he was doing a kmitza without the levina? Because there is no levina by minchas choyte. What the Tana, this whole Mishnah, the whole beginning is talking about a one case of one mincha, of a minchas choyte. Yes. Fine. Says the Gemara. Now,
See how much the Tana cared about the chayte?
yeah.
We wanted to be so left out.
All right. Hada Amarava. Lav Milsahi. This is what I just said. That the koimetz is not mashpia the shirayim. Lav Milsahi. That's not you. Kodesh Kadoshim Hu. When it's talking about the lechem upon him, it says Kodesh Kadoshim Hu. In singular. Meaning, all 12 breads have one halacha. Shim nifrsa achas mechaliseh. We had this sugya 3 times, right? One of the 12 breads broke. What halacha does that broken bread have? Halacha of chaser. Kulam psulois. So the Gemara makes a diuk, and the Gemara says it's a very good diuk. We could make a diuk here, but depends what you medayik. The first diuk we want to be medayik is dafka. Why do we bring a case of broken? Say another case. Hayatzas. What about yaitze? One of the 12 breads went out of the Beis Hamikdash. Maybe I shouldn't be able to eat all 11. Says the Gemara, Hanidiki gavoik sheiros. How do I make it kosher? With the levina. The levina can make it kosher. What is that similar to? Oh. So if the levina could have an effect on something that's already outside of the Beis Hamikdash, our kmitza should have an effect on something that's also chaser, on the shirayim that are chaser. Just like, she'im.
So Kisaron is stronger than
Okay.
that earlier.
1 second.
You don't know.
Only in a case where you have chaser, like by us, by shirayim and chaser. But in a case that it went outside, it's kosher through the levina. Man shamas leidom is zrika me'els liyotzei. Who's the Tana that we mentioned before that says zrika has an effect even though it went outside the Beis Hamikdash? Rebbe Kivi. V'ko amar nifr saloi. And he says that it doesn't have, the kmitza does not have an effect on the shirayim that are chaser. Just like the levina doesn't have an effect on the lechem aponim that's chaser. So too, kmitza, which is similar to levina, the haktara of the kmitza is similar to the haktara of levina, shouldn't have it on the shirayim that's missing, because shirayim that's missing is similar to lechem aponim that's missing. You see, that doesn't have an effect. You said, Rava said, that the shirayim, that the kmitza on the mizbeach, the haktara of the kmitza has an effect on a chaser shirayim. Over here you see Rebbe Kiva holds it doesn't have an effect. Rabbi says it's unbelievable. The harder it is for us to understand, you see how deep the Gemara is, how much chachma they had. They were able to come up with this stuff. It's unbelievable. Omalei Abaya, Miktani Ayatzas, you're making a nice diuk, but it doesn't say mefurish, it's just a diuk. So if you're saying that there's a diuk to be made, maybe the diuk is on another psul. Dilma hanitmis hanach cheres. Maybe the case is Our case is if one of the breads broke, you can't eat the rest of the breads. But if one of the breads became tamei, I could eat the rest of the breads. What's the difference? Why, if one of the breads became tamei, I could eat all the breads? Lamaisa who? All 12 breads are one, and one of the breads is tamei, so I don't have all 12 breads. The reason would be because there's a concept that tzitz is meratzah. The Kohen Gadol wears a golden tzitz on his forehead, it says Kodesh Lashem, that has the power to remove tumah if you did it b'shayir for tzibur, whatever. So over here also, maybe because of the tzibur, they need the lechem upon him, and one of the breads became tamei, the tzitz uses magical powers and removes the tumah from that one bread, and all 12 breads are mutter. My taima, what? No, only in tumah. It only works to remove tumah, and not chisaron or whatever other things that we're talking about. Yotzei. It doesn't remove yotzei. My time in the ratzah tzitz, ava yotzah sloi, but not yotzei. Rabbi Lezer. So this brayso is going to go according to Rabbi Lezer. The Omar ein zrika meyels yotzei. Zrika doesn't work for yotzei. Ubedinu udi boile lemisnei nami yotzes. So if zrika doesn't work for yotzei, so he should have also mentioned that case. Just like the aktar doesn't work for shirayim, also the zrika doesn't work for yotzei. It's a great case. I'm sorry. When we're talking about lechem apanim and we're talking about broken bread, Rabbi Lezer should have mentioned not only if the bread is broken, one loaf of bread is broken and it's chaser, all other 11 breads are possible, but even in the case where one bread is tamei, all 11 breads are aser. Because broken bread is inside the Beis Hamikdash, I would think that it has more of a reason to be kosher. But according to Rabbi Kiva that says that Zrika does work for Yotzei, maybe afilu chesaron nami mahanya le'aktara. So maybe even in a case where there's a chesaron in our case, that there's a chesaron in the shirayim. If the shirayim is chaser, so maybe the aktara of the koimetz would work to make it pigul. Have a great day.
Oh, everyone knows that third.
It's very difficult.
Who is it that said it's the lechem